Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Good. Who attended a research conference yesterday and is kind of in the flow of learning, thinking, all the good stuff? Yeah. Good. My name's JC Lippold, and thank you for letting me spend some time in your space, in your context, to maybe offer another ripple as you learn, as you grow, as you consider with courage and curiosity. I spend the majority of my time in the seat as outside looking in. So as a coach, a consultant, as a researcher, as a theater educator, I do a lot of systems change work within the wellness space, which is part of what brought me into this room today. And by systems change work, meaning if we look at health, wellness, the human experience, we are taught a lot of things that are innately really not healthy for us. Like that we are not complete beings, that our intuition and our curiosity and our courage, these elements of our body and being are things that maybe aren't on our own side, which was the birthplace of this idea of enoughness. Now, thanks to the Barbie movie, enough became a very popular concept with Ken's journey. But enoughness, in essence, is a paradigm shift. A paradigm, one of those things that we take to be as truth without actually knowing why we take it to be truth. We live in a world where we're taught that we aren't enough yet. So normally it's we are here. Once we accomplish this, then we'll be enough to do the things that we are wanting to do. Perhaps if you are in an educational setting, you're like, okay, once I get through the semester, or once I graduate, or once I have my degree, once I learn, then I will then be capable of doing something that has worth. And enoughness is taking away that middle space and going, actually, there's capacity now to do something. So we'll dive in. Enoughness, it's the practice of being where you are with what you have and honoring that. We'll take this in a workshop type of function today, and by workshop, I mean a meeting with a group of people who are engaging. So rather than this being something that's happening to you today, please mess up the trajectory. Please go, my context, my agency, my autonomy, my reality. Like, take this where it's going to be sticky for you. As opposed to, okay, we need to sit and listen and take it. No, have this happen through you, not to you. This is a calibration exercise, and you can't calibrate what you don't already have. So this is not a learn something new, but retweak what you already have. So as you walk back out, you go, oh. So then you can go ahead and put it into action. And then it's enoughness calibration workshop. And enoughness, again, is this practice of going, where am I and what do I have that I can put to use? Okay. This whole conference is around the idea of the 8 dimensions of wellness, right? There's a precursor to this. We can go ahead and work on these things and again work on these things again and again and work on these things again and again. But if the context in which we're working on them in and on is like building a sand castle next to the ocean where the tide is going to come in again and wash it, the tide's going to come in again and wash it, what do we end up doing? We live in a world where, let's use fitness and food as an example. Why is there always a new fad diet? Why is there always the new, this is the magical workout? Because we live in a world that is selling us these things as if they are a commodity external to us rather than something that's innately human. When our intuition speaks, it's saying, I am hungry. When our curiosity is speaking, it's saying, I have a thought that's leading me somewhere that's innately for our own well-being. So holistically, look at the elements of wellness, the factors of wellness, through a context of what is the precursor that would make any of the work that we're doing be sticky, be something that is not in 6 months from now, it's going to change completely in its game, but it's going to be something I'm going to be able to rely on and settle into. I often think of it this way. If you ever watch the Today Show or Good Morning America, and Al Roker goes, hey, we're going to Toledo, Ohio today, where Dolores is turning 103 years old. Dolores, how are you doing? I'm good, Al. And then Al goes, Dolores, what's your secret? How have you lived to be 103 years old? 99 out of 100 times, what is Dolores' secret? Or Evelyn, or Roger, or other names of earlier generations that we don't hear as much anymore. Evelyn always says, cigarettes and chocolate bars every day. Vodka and my grandmother's barbecue sauce every single day. And in the context of cultural health, wellness, fitness, we go, but those things aren't healthy. What is Dolores saying? I've given myself the things every single day that make me feel known, seen, safe, connected, well. You've heard of blue zones, these areas on the planet where people live with a different degree of baseline health. And it's because they have fresh air and they eat certain foods and they... What's up? Is it possible to disconnect audio? Oh, let me check. How do I do that? We'll try. We're going to try to disconnect the audio here. Yeah, because I hear that echo. Yeah, we're going to bring up the man, the myth, the wonder, a bell to fix my computer. Let's hear it for a bell, everybody. So, blue zones, right? Normally, these areas on the planet where people are well, there's nothing magical or mystical, but they live in an ecosystem where they have connectivity with people they don't know yet. They move their bodies. They eat food that nourishes them. They have fresh air. They have time. They have space. These things don't exist in specific corners of longitude, latitude, but they exist because the world is set up for them to be well. So that's the context and the connection. Oh, and now the clicker won't work. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment, everybody. No. But if you hear the idea of enoughness, let's bring this in. What's your starting point for enoughness, or what's your worry or concern about an idea like enoughness before we dive in? Any thoughts? When you hear the word enough or enoughness, what are the things that come to mind? Peace. Thank you. And notice, raised hand wasn't necessary. Shout out the things. Let this be reactive. Let it come from that guttural place. Other things that come to mind. Self-worth. Yeah. Parenting. Parenting as in you need to acknowledge that you are enough within a role of when you're inspiring and taking care of other people. Yeah. So caregiving in a macro. What you have to give has worth and it is enough. What else? Health. What else? Productivity. Can we dig in more there? As in we are, I want to attempt to answer. Put more words around productivity. Yeah, imposter syndrome. Right? If we, I'm a straight passing gay guy who grew up in North Minneapolis. I am always getting to be walking into a space where I have to code shift. Right? I constantly live in a space of being the imposter. Right? Even like being on stage today, I have to go, am I enough to be the person who has the microphone, who has the clicker? Yep, perfect. Round of applause, y'all. Yeah, like all of these things that you are setting your context with. My educational background is in belief in linguistics. So I have an undergraduate degree in sociologically lensed theology. So everybody believes in something, whether it be God, Britney Spears, family, food, the Minnesota Twins, nature. We are innately designed to believe in something. If we can figure out how to speak to what people believe in and what moves them, we can do really cool things. The other element is linguistics, right? In theology, we often talk about cultural linguistic interpretation. Everything that is ever said or communicated is said with the intent of making someone feel something, learn something, do something. So we need to speak to a specific group of people at a specific time in a language that's going to help them understand what we want to communicate. So we just did a crowdsource on what we currently think of when we hear an idea like enoughness. That's where you need to start this conversation. It's the reason why I say through versus to, right? It's like, I need to take this in someone else's context. No, make this fit. within your world. So you walk out here with maybe this much of whatever is offered, but it's the much that is worth something to you. So enoughness doesn't equal complacency. For people who are 1% better every day, go, grow, they often hear enoughness and they go, no, but I'm not enough because I want to accomplish this thing and I can't do it yet. Enoughness is actually the contrary to complacency. What ends up happening? If this is where I am and this is where I need to be in order to accomplish something, what do we often do? We never get there because there constantly is moving. We live in complacency when we want to think 1% better every day. Oh my gosh, I just did this really awesome thing, but it wasn't enough. Enoughness allows you to get to the place where I am always capable of doing something. I need to recalibrate what I think the worth of that thing is, but it's progressive. Like how many of you within your scholarly journeys have gotten to the place where I got no hope, I got no direction, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and I'm done. How many's been there? Yeah, the world in which you live in is set up to make you think that way. When in reality, normally what happens, you get to the place where you go, and I'm going to do something. And you go, you know what, that something was actually worth a lot. So here's the definition. Enoughness is the awareness of what you have that can be put to use with no attachment to what tomorrow will bring. Enoughness answers the question, am I worthy? Am I valid? Am I capable? The answer is yeah. And if the answer is no, then the aperture gets smaller to the place where the answer is yes. Am I capable of winning the London Marathon? No, I'm not. Am I capable of running up these stairs and getting my heart rate elevated? Yes. The aperture is set to a degree where the answer is yes. Once you get to a yes, then we get to ask the question. So now what can I do? Because if that aperture gets small enough, and if I come to the theater in the Fine Arts Building at Inver Hills, and I run up and down these stairs enough times, in theory, would I be capable of winning the London Marathon? In theory. Yes. Irrational in the latter, but the pathway becomes clear. Now the question is, do I want to win the London Marathon? No. So am I going to run up and down these stairs enough times to do it? No. But how many, sorry about the squeak in the voice, you'll hear it many times today. How many times do we think, oh, I need to eat the kale salad because this is the thing that's going to make me enough? Who wants to eat the kale salad? Not everybody all of the time. Those people are like, I kind of like kale salads. I do too. Do I want to eat a kale salad every single day, 3 meals a day for my whole life? No. How many people have that as their diet culture, their meditation practice culture, their fitness culture? Here are the things that I need to do it all the time. I need to do 75 hard. I need to commit to the challenge. I need to do dry January. I need to have the resolution. I need to, every single time, what happens with those things? Sooner or later, sooner or later we stop doing the thing and we return to the place of, So, as I mentioned, it's a calibration, meaning you can't recalibrate or calibrate what you don't already have. And there's 4 levers that we talk about in this concept of enoughness. First one is your honesty. It's your words are enough. It's the evidence of our enoughness. Number 2, it's your intuition. Your feelings are enough. Believe it or not, that rumbling in your belly that says, you know what I would really want right now? That voice is on your side. You should listen to it. Number 3, it's your curiosity. It's your thoughts are enough. Hey, I wonder what would happen if... Nah. The nah is the not enoughness. The I wonder what would happen if is the enoughness. And then lastly, it's your current state. It's the holistic I am enough. This is when we get into the power of being mindful or being present or being thoughtful. It's putting these things together to go, right now within this moment, I know that this is the right thing to do. So we'll look at each of these 4. As you look on the screen right now, there's a lot of words. And these words are vessels. Meaning, if you see one of these things on the screen that you are, will you just shout out the word that you are? Like, I am a, throw out the things you see. Friend, spouse, parent. Yeah, we hear it, right? Those things are vessels. It's what you place in them that has value. So like if I would pick this thing up, what is this? It's a water bottle. Why is it a water bottle? Because there's water in it. If it was empty, how many of you would have still said this is a water bottle? Most people. Why? Because most of the time we see this as being that. But it's a bottle that has water in it. These words are empty until you go, this is what I mean when I say this thing. A lot of the start of the conversation of enoughness is around going, these things mean nothing outside of your context, your culture, your agency and your access and your autonomy and your desire and your urge to make this mean something. One quick crowdsource, and then we'll dive into our first calibrating arm, and that's the words that we use. So we often hear things like being in the zone, or being in the flow state, or being present or on fire in your element, feeling it. Like these are the places that we kind of want to be. It's like, I am locked in right now. What happens in a person when they feel this happening? Within their head, heart, body, within the space in which they exist. I'll actually take a couple hands because there's going to be some morsels that we'll build on. So you may go, it's like, ooh, when I'm in that space, here's what's going on in my head. When I'm in this space, here's what's happening in my heart or my body or in the world that I'm in. Anybody have a good, like, I know what this feels like, I've been there, or I've seen it in others? A couple hands. Yeah, in the back. Go for it. Self-confidence. There's a self-confidence, right? It's inside out. Cool. Others in the back. The door was like ready to answer. What else you got back there?
Lose sense of time.
You lose sense of time. Yeah, the ticking of the clock, the urgency, the I need to by when kind of goes away. Is there a hand over here? Yeah. Motivated. You fall in love with doing the thing. Who's ever had a lot of work on their plate and has been really excited to have a lot of work on their plate in that moment? 3 people. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but again, like think about it. Think about if you were in this space and you had the work to do, and rather than going, I had to get it done, it was, this is my work. Let's do 1 or 2 more. This side of the room, anybody? Yeah. Energizing. Even though your energy output, it's also energy input. 1 more. Yeah. It's kind of like rose-colored glasses, and I like the prudence of being, it's kind of like. Because when you're in the flow state, you know that you're still existing in the real world, but you can see things, you can see, like I often get mistaken for being a positive person. I'm a realist, like by trade, like I'm a researcher. I love looking at where and what and how, but there are times where I go, yeah, I actually guess in some moments I can extract some rosiness out of situations that may not have a lot of rosiness. This is where we're working towards. So if we think of these places, how often do you not feel the things that were just shared in these roles? You feel like it's hard. You feel like it's de-energizing. You feel like there is nothing positive. You feel not confident. You doubt yourself. You feel like 1 second lasts 1 hour. You feel non-motivated. So let's talk about what's actually happening here. Sports Psychology 101. The best athlete is not the strongest, the hardest, the fastest, the deepest, the most committed. What is the best athlete? The one who gets to ready position first. What is ready position? In this moment, here's my opportunity. We see MJ in the middle, and even though the picture's kind of grainy, MJ is MJ, ball, hoop. John Stockton, stress, tension, defeat. Karl Malone, you can see tension in fingers. He's not here, he's here. Look at all of these faces. What do you see? Angry, depending on who they're cheering for. There's one person in this picture who's going, here's my opportunity at hand. And it's MJ. Is MJ a great physical athlete and mental athlete, emotional athlete? Yeah, absolutely. All of that stuff does not matter in moments like this. It's, can you go, in this moment, in this split second, here's my opportunity. And I guarantee you, he's back in junior high or high school playing JV basketball in his driveway, going, this is just like me in my driveway doing the thing I do. How do we get to that place? There's a motivation, there's a confidence, there's an energizing, there's a wanting to be in this moment, there's a here's my opportunity. This is what enoughness looks like. But most of the time, this is perceived as, once I am, then I will be. We see kind of the shift. MJ is really, really good at going, this is the moment. Think about other people in your life who are not professional athletes or having sponsorships by a Nike or Gatorade or whatever, who are really good at being in ready position. Can you throw out, obviously we won't know who these people are because we don't know your world, but like you may throw out my brother, Judy, like throw out names. Can you think of people who are good at getting to ready position in moments where there's chaos happening? Yeah, think about those people and you may be like, that's me sometimes, or that's this person sometimes. So we're going to layer on 4 layers of paint here. And it starts with, my words are enough. Here's how we do it. You minimize the minimizing language, and you speak your truth quickly. What's minimizing language? Well, let's play the game a little bit. I was only able to work out twice this week. Can someone say this without the minimizing language? Notice how it changed. I only worked out twice this week. I worked out twice. Do we hear the timbre change? It's like, here's the reality. Here is the truth. What does that do physiologically? I only, We know people who live in the world. Their posture looks like this once they get older. They live like this. There's research that shows postures of species, like people who do not speak language. What does this mean? Yeah, you can see species across the board that this means the same thing. And that this means the same thing. What is the truth here? I worked out twice this week. Your worth is not attached to if you worked out or not. But there is value if you take it. How about this one? Say I'll only be in the minute for 10 meetings. Say that without the minimizing language. I'll be in the meeting for 10 minutes. And again, people shied away from 10 minutes. 10 minutes could be the 10 minutes that changes the world. The minimizing language is one word only. You're the one who said, hey, I'm going to waste your life for 10 minutes because I don't think that 10 minutes is worth anything. Hey, I got 10 minutes. What do you need? Number 3, I only have $5 to donate. I know it's not that much. Take out the minimizing language. Rephrase that. I have $5. Here you go. Have a good day. I'm not any good. I just like singing. Yeah, and you would have gotten a bonus point if anybody just started singing. Right? Because at the end of the day, how much in the social media world do we share the moment of someone who just starts making music in the middle of nowhere? And then you go, hey, would it be okay if I sing you a song right now? Marika, I mean it. You're still up if you want to sing. No. Okay. All right. Hey, it's okay to take it easy. Take out the minimizing language. Take it easy. The Eagles didn't say it's okay to take it easy. Take it easy. Right? It's an invitation. Because if we don't take it easy, what happens after a while? That. Who struggles to take it easy in this room? Yeah. Who's ever praised for taking it easy in this room? Couple people? Good. I think the world's starting to shift to going, hey, we can't do anything if we don't actually fill that cup. Here's a big one, and I will sooner or later be sued by Nike. Take out the minimizing language. Do it. I was the sissy, nonverbal kid who was standing on the 3-meter diving board at the Brooklyn Center Community Center. And all the straight macho boys who could do the hang test for 6 hours because they weighed 13 pounds, but they had biceps, they're all down in the water saying what? Just jump. And for me, it wasn't a just action. It was if I jumped off the diving board, I was going to be enough. And if I couldn't jump off the diving board, I was still that kid. It was not a just action for me. How many more billions and trillions of dollars would Nike make if their slogan was not, hey, just do it? Serena and Michael did. It's like, yep, they did. And also their construct and their agency and their access and their world is set up to be unidirectionally set up to do the one thing. It's not even a just action for them. But when we sell it as, hey, these things are easy, so just do it, Nike would go through the roof. They would catch up to the Lululemons of the world who are taking a more kind of community-driven approach, and Nike's actually switching to do so. Be like, hey, do it. And lastly, hey, I'm new here, so I'm sorry if this is a dumb question, but why do we say things like that? There's a really good reason. Because we are afraid that if we don't do that, that people say you are not enough. Which then calibrates you to going, I need to speak my truth quickly. My perspective is this. I'm the first time person in this room. My perspective is very fresh here. If you've been here for a long time, your perspective is very maybe nuanced. Like you may be able to see the small, I may be able to see the big. Whose perspective is valuable? Both. But how do you feel when you hear someone say, hey, I'm new here, and this may sound dumb, but we naturally, as humans, go, or we naturally go, or we naturally go. What if we didn't do that? So here's how the talk starts. It starts in our head, and then it exits our body. Self-talk. You all, if you can hear that voice inside your head that's always kind of talking to you, that's what self-talk is. If you haven't kind of thought of that voice in your head that way, this is the voice that's constantly communicating. It moves 7 times faster than spoken language. I know I speak fast. Imagine if you had to listen to me 7 times faster than this. Now, again, you may not understand the words, but it's this constant evolution. 80,000 thoughts a day at 7 times the speed. 80% of those thoughts are naturally negative in the culture in which we live. Again, negative, not constructive, not motivational, not aspirational, but negative. And 95% of your thoughts repeat at least once. So out of those 80,000 thoughts, it's not 80,000 unique thoughts, but it's 80,000 thoughts that are being delivered. Boom, 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 boom. And 95% of those, so if you think maybe 40,000 thoughts that are going to be on repeat. If most of them are coming from a negative space, there's a reason why we do these things. Because we swim in it. But if all of a sudden, we can slow things down enough to go, I'm going to do this little calibration exercise. I'm a big fan of doing little things often. Not because it's going to change your world, but it's going to invite you to become aware of your world. So here's a do little thing often opportunity. Number 1, recognize it. Take some time to go, I'm going to listen to that voice inside my head. There it is. Cool. I found it. Number 2, record it. Write it down so you can see it. Like have the space where you write down the weird stuff that moves through your brain. Because it may not be weird. It may be something that's pointing to something else. And the beautiful thing is once you record it, it's not moving at that speed. It's not moving at all. It's now an artifact. Something you can do something with. Number 3, revise. If you got the time, just like we did here, can you go ahead and revise to go, what am I really saying in this moment? And all of a sudden you do it differently. I've ruined people's lives by making them aware of the words just and only. I get messages from people all around the world every day being like, I literally cannot say these words without going, wait, did I actually mean it? Like, did I actually want to say just because I'm speaking about one thing? Did I say only because I'm speaking about a very specific amount? Or did I say it to minimize? Having that awareness is really helpful. And then number 4, repeat. Invite the new synapse. Rewrite the thing. Hashtag do it rather than hashtag just do it. They'll sue me, they won't sue you, so feel free to do it. So, that's number 1. One of my heroes in this world, RuPaul, says you have to be friends with your inner saboteur. The challenge with doing this work is we get to the place where we become aware of the things that we do to ourselves, rather consciously or subconsciously. But if we get used to knowing that that voice is there, The things we say to ourselves that aren't maybe healthy, guess what? That's part of the journey. That's part of the processing of getting to the place like, I know myself really, really good. So getting to be friendly with that saboteur voice is really helpful. And RuPaul's number one most quoted phrase, and it's part of the liturgy of the drag world, is, hey, if you don't love yourself, how in the heck are you going to love somebody else? It's a reiteration of the golden rule in another way. Right? So often we look at, Edith Wharton has this great quote. Edith says, the light is reflected in two ways, from the candle and from the mirror. So often we look at how our candle is shining through the reflection of other people's mirrors, and people go, are you having a rough day? Or people respond to you. Teachers, professors, I'm speaking to you. Sometimes it's like, wow, I'm attempting to share some light, but it's being reflected in a way that it's maybe not hitting in the right way. And we go, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And a lot of the times it's within our ability to deliver our clarity in order to go, okay, now it can be received. So let's move into number 2. Your feelings are enough. Your feelings tap into your intuition. Your intuition is the part of your being that says, ooh, do that. That makes sense and will feel good. I grew up, as I said, in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Our celebratory meals were Old Country Buffet on Sunday mornings after church and McDonald's Happy Meals. Let's say I have a 16-hour day as a fractional employee working in this world, and I kill myself on, let's say, a Thursday. And let's say at the end of the day, I get home late and I'm hungry. And my body goes, you want to know what tastes good right now? Happy Meal. There's a kale salad in the fridge. This isn't an either or, but what do we think is the best answer for my overall health and well-being? Happy Meal or kale salad? Kale salad, yeah, that's a strong cultural vibe. But let's think about this. My body is in a space of stress. Nervous system is going off. I am in fight flight. My body's in a space of not feeling safe and grounded. It's holding on to a lot of cortisol. It's in a space of I'm protecting myself. Think back to Dolores turning 103. Why does the Snickers bar work? I am okay right now. If I eat the Happy Meal, my body's going to go, you know what? We're okay. If I eat the kale salad, my body may go, where are we? What's going on? What's going on here? What's going on here? And it may stay in that space of stress, duress, cortisol high. Now the dangers is, JC, are you saying we're supposed to eat McDonald's every day? I'm like, no, because guess what? Your intuition will never ask for, let's talk about empty language, junk food, right? Even the word junk makes us go, huh, right? But our body will not ask for things that are not going to give it its overall healthy, well-being, sustained place. In certain moments, your body's going to ask for different things. It's going to ask for comfort. It's going to ask for rest. It's going to ask for stress. It's going to ask for conflict. It's going to ask for clarity. It's going to ask for food, fitness, movement, spirit, all of the things. But when we live in a world where we don't listen to the intuition, what do we end up doing? The thing that culturally is loud, do this because this is the good thing. And then after a while, what do we do in the dark recesses of the corners that we don't tell anybody about? The things that actually fill our cravings. The things that actually make us go, The hard thing is, there is no binary truth when it comes to our own well-being. We are complex beings. So to go ahead and say, hey, eat less, move more. I worked on the first comprehensive research ever done on food, body, and fitness shaming. Remarkable for 2 reasons. Number one, the research is remarkable. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it after, but it's remarkable research. Shame is a really powerful force in this world. Here's the other really remarkable thing, that there's been so little research done on shame. Why? Who would pay for it? The food and the fitness industries who use shame as a mechanism to sell more and more things. The diet industry. The work harder, stronger, faster, deeper fitness industry. And also the junk food industry. And also the big box and the organic. Everybody's using shame to go, this is the thing that you need. Because it sells the thing. But at the end of the day, it makes us doubt that our body's actually on our side and is going to ask for what it needs. What does life look like when your feelings aren't enough? When you aren't listening to your intuition? What does it feel like? When we aren't listening to the voice that says, hey, do that, that'll feel good. That will nourish us, that will ground us, that will fill us. When we don't listen to that voice, how does it feel? What's that? Awful. Heavy. Anxiety. Dissonance. And dissonance, unresolved dissonance. Right? Dissonance is what makes music lovely. But if that dissonance never goes away, so, we hear things like no pain, no gain. And actually, when our body's feeling pain, what is our body telling us? Stop. There's a difference between pain and exhaustion or heightened heart rate or so on and so forth. But actually, pain, stop. Tune out and get it done. Sometimes we need to get the thing done because we live in a complex system. But what's normally the best way to get something done? To tune in. Your mind will give up way before your body. I don't want my body getting to the finish line with my mind left at 500 feet before the finish line. What is that worth? Who is going to be successful in that state? No matter what, don't quit. We have major issues with addiction within our species. One of the reasons why is because people are neurally pathways set up to never quit anything. Think about the relationship that should be quit. Think about the activity that we continue to do for so long because it's what I do and it's what my identity is and it's what my responsibility is. How many people have something in their life right now that they should probably quit because there's time to be spent on doing other things that are more important? Never let your emotions overpower your intelligence. I don't know, sometimes my emotion is the number one remedy or voice that needs to be heard, more so than this. Sometimes people need to see this more than this. Sometimes. There is a right way and a wrong way. Here's the thing about this. There are potentially many right ways, and there are certainly many wrong ways. But to look at a world in a binary existence where it doesn't exist that way, back to the eat less, move more. 100 people eat less and move more. What does the data show? 100 different things. But everybody's going, here's a simple message to my complex reality. I'm going to do that thing. I didn't get the result that that person did. The bottom of every TV infomercial, these results are not normal nor expected for more than the one person who's being interviewed right now on the TV. There are right ways. There are wrong ways. But to say there is a right and a wrong, not accurate. And it messes up your intuition. OMG, I'm so bad I shouldn't eat this. This is where we end up. Feeling like crap is bad for your health. Feeling bad is really bad for your well-being. If you are in a system, agency, access, privilege, non-privilege, culturalization, ghettoization, guess what? If you are part of the culture that is seen as bad, that has a great impact on your health. For a moment, and again, survey, throwing lots of bits at you. Ultra-processed foods. I've been in the space of food shame. Every single time it's presented, they always say there is correlation between ultra-processed foods and these negative health implications. I'm the voice in the audience. Thank you. Is there causation? There isn't. They don't spend time looking at causation between ultra-processed foods and negative health implications. What they're saying is people who eat ultra-processed foods have these negative health implications. I am from a suburban food desert named Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, where we lost our Target, we lost our Walmart. We can't keep a Target or a Walmart. Where do people from my neck of the woods get their food from a lot of the times? If they don't have transportation, if they have kids, if they have 2 jobs, if they're going back to school, if they're doing all the things, where do they get their food from? Yeah. From the gas station, from the DoorDash, from the Quick, from the Easy, from the Shelf Stable, from the Fortified. Are those good things? Not culturally. So they're doing what they're doing while feeling bad. Guess what? Yeah, there's absolute correlation between processed food and negative health implications. What if we spent more time looking at the causation so we could actually say, let's be really specific what we're talking about. So, intuition versus culture. Culture leads us to have conscious reasoning. I'm existing in a world, so I can say this is right, this is wrong, according to the world in which I live in. Intuition says there's an instinctive feeling inside me that says, you know what, 9 people out of 10 say this. For some reason, I feel like I'm supposed to walk this way on the pathway. Culture, really powerful tool, which is why we continue to work on it and hopefully make it better for more. Culture is the barrier that separates you from yourself in exchange for connecting you to the whole. There's great value in being connected to the whole. But if that culture is not representing you and serving you, what ends up happening? You have to lose yourself in order to be a part of the whole. That doesn't sound too good. Your intuition is a great friction element to go and bring you together. Intuition is the bridge that carries you from the shared, the culture, in exchange for you introducing you to your current uniqueness. The power of social media, hi social media, is that we get to see people being uniquely themselves. And we go, I like that person doing something so different. These two things need to be in relationship with each other. And us calibrating my feelings are enough gets us on that pathway. All right, I already mentioned your nervous system a little bit before, and we're going to fly. So your nervous system has no opinions. You have a parasympathetic, your rest digest, your sympathetic, your fight flight. Here's the deal. 12,000 years ago, we existed about 90% in our rest digest. We woke up when the sun rose and shined on our face. We ate when our stomach said, I'm hungry. We ran away from the angry animal when the animal was close. Because of us industrializing and farming and putting a lot of things in place, like who's gotten a buzz or who just looked at a clock, it's like, oh my gosh, we need to get moving, so on and so forth, right? We live, a lot of research shows, about 90% in our fight flight, about 10% in our rest digest today. Cool thing is we can. We're highly durable creatures. But what would happen if we were living more in a versus a there'd be some power that came back to us. When your nervous system goes, something's happening, it's not going something happening and it's bad. When you're on a treadmill and you're running, and all of a sudden you look at the poster of the lady whose hair is done and she's white and 38 years old and has a bachelor's degree in English and has 3 kids and lives in a 4-bedroom house in Maple Grove and is smiling on the treadmill, and you're going, I don't feel like that. I'm about to die. What do we think our nervous system is saying? I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm not enough. When in reality, your nervous system's saying, hey, your heart rate's elevating and we're starting to perspire, are we okay? And when you go, yeah, I'm on a treadmill, we're good. I put myself here. Okay. But when the outside culture image is impacting our inside intuition image, we get messed up pretty quick. All right, number 3, your thoughts are enough. And curiosity. Your curiosity is your wonder muscle. It's the part of you that goes, When we're little, we are so good at listening to our curiosity muscle. And we kind of lose it for a lot of reasons, but also it's the reason why I love being in spaces like this, because this is the space where your curiosity muscle comes to life again. And you go, What does life look like when your thoughts aren't enough, when you aren't honoring your curiosity? Throw it out. When you're not listening to the thoughts and the what ifs. Closed-minded, isolated. What was that one? Doubt. Boring. Fearful. You're not exploring. And there's an action, like there's a physicalization there. Like we aren't doing the thing that we're supposed to do. This is shifting a lot. Right? The era of people having the same job for 40 years and then retiring with the clock and the watch because they worked the place for 40 years, that's happening less, and it's not generational. There are more people being more curious. This is one that we're actually doing better at. Why? Because we have access to more information. We are less isolated. We are doubting more in the ways of going, that doesn't seem right to me. I'm going to be curious on the other side of it. I don't know. I wonder. Ask a question. Form a question. Learn something new. Change. Right? These are things. There's a million articles in the last 10 years that have come out that say the number one thing that the top CEOs on the planet are saying, these 3 words. I don't know. If you have people who are supposed to be the source and the answer of all the things who are going, I don't know, become less isolated. We explore more. There is doubt is seen as a progression to grow versus a reason to shrink. So Steve Jobs, when he was young, messaged either Hewlett or Packard, one of them, and said, hey, can you send me any like bits and parts from all the stuff that you're building? Because I just want to play with it. Steve Jobs messaged them, and Hewlett Packard gave him an internship and was like, okay, Steve Jobs becomes Steve Jobs. I love this Steve Jobs quote, except for one word. Most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask, and that's what separates the people who do the things from the people who dream about them. That just wasn't there. This is a really great quote. But that just all of a sudden makes Steve Jobs' ability to dream a lot smaller. Curiosity and courage. We look at these two things together. If you struggle with curiosity, use courage as the accelerator. If you are a courage person, you run and you do the thing, but you don't actually take time to think and wonder if you're right or wrong, add a little bit more curiosity. Here's the parallel. Curiosity invites us to consider. Courage invites us to do. Curiosity asks what could be. Courage asks the question. Curiosity asks what would happen if. Courage tries. Curiosity asks what becomes possible when, and the courage dreams. So often we're isolated in one or the other. We do a lot of this and we feel stuck and small, or we do this and we run our heads against the wall and we work really hard and we don't necessarily get anywhere, but we're really loud playing in pots. These things need to happen together. Lastly, your current state is enough. This is your I am. This is your ready position. And this is where this gets a little somber for a moment as we go, okay, this sounds great, but all of this is like deculturalizing myself, removing myself from the cultural norms. That doesn't sound like the best way to move with or to move alongside. So our enoughness goes up, the clarity of our language goes up. Our enoughness goes up, our intuition, our feelings get acknowledged and listened to more. Hey, our enoughness goes up and our curiosity gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we live in a world that when all these things are going up, the cultural normative is not to do these things. So then all of a sudden you end up being in a space like this where you're the enoughness guy and you feel like you're living in a really weird, isolated world. Because everything that I raised up, there's a lot of like, or like the smiles, or like the glassy eye where you're going like, yeah, I don't like feeling the way that I feel when I do the cultural normative activity. Michael was a very lonely creature. It's the reason why we could still reference Michael. How long ago did Michael retire? Long time ago. I was in Chicago last week. I drove past Michael's steakhouse. You know, once you're at the age of having a steakhouse, that you've been out of the game for a long time. But I can still use a Michael reference, even though he's lived in this isolated space because of who he was within the construct of how we look at physical activity. Increasing our enoughness isolates us from cultural norms and cues. So, yeah, my words are enough, my feelings are enough, my thoughts are enough, but how does the journey of enoughness not lead me to a space of isolation? Well, sometimes it does. You wander your pathway. The biggest source of shame, of guilt, of isolation is believing that we live in a binary world. Here's the right, here's the wrong. Here's what people are doing, here's what people aren't doing. I am a part of a community and here's what this community does. We want to be a part of that. But also, we have calls that remind us that we are incredibly unique and specific. We look at the energy moving up and down. Putting this on an XY chart is counter to what I just said. It doesn't work this way. It works this way. Enoughness leads you to spaces of big isolation where you go, I absolutely kind of know my truth right now, and that's pretty awesome. And I wish there was someone here I could tell it to, but there's not because I'm alone. And then all of a sudden, you speak your truth and you be the mirror to the candle and the candle to the mirror, and what do you end up doing? You end up sitting in a room full of people who are talking about ideas and curiosities and hypotheses and places that we can go and things we can do and ways that we can succeed and surely ways that we can fail. And once we fail, we can learn and we can do something again. And all of a sudden, this is a place that you remember 50 years from now because it gave you the opportunity to do stuff like this. What's your why? Right? We're in the age of the why. It's like, know your why, work from your why. Yeah, absolutely. And what variables allow your why to shape your how? Like if you have a very clear why, you're going to be walking down a pathway that's not been walked down before, and it's going to seem contrary. You're going to teach your teachers. Your teachers are going to then teach you something different from the construct in which you just gave. This is what your line's probably going to end up looking like. So we'll finish here. I don't like running. Back to the standing on the edge of the diving board. I'm the person who's never lived in a physical construct, so I've never had to live up to the physical constructs of being stronger, faster, harder, deeper. So what do? I learned to go ahead and fall in love with running to be like, why do people do this? And can I do it very differently? I don't like running, so I don't train. I like being around people doing remarkable things that they've been told that they're not supposed to do before. So I'm going to go do some marathons. There's causes I care about. If I can go ahead and figure out a way to help people understand what I care about and why they may care about the thing I'm doing it for, this may raise some money, some awareness, so on and so forth. This was London Marathon, which is being run in a couple of days in London once again. I ran my 40th marathon last April, and then I've had chronic illness stuff. I haven't been able to run a mile since then. But the good thing is I don't like running, so that's okay. But the reason why I run is because I get to be around people who I don't know yet, doing things that they maybe never thought they were going to be able to do because the world told them they shouldn't do it. Raising money for National MS Society, American Cancer Society, dog rescues, I get to see cities and worlds that get shut down to allow people like this to go ahead and run around the world and see it from a different perspective. I run and I do most things because it brings me happiness. Here's the last thought. This is an embodiment of enoughness per se. If happiness is the pinnacle of your values pyramid, you end up doing things because it brings you joy. If health is the pinnacle of your values pyramid, it makes you healthier, stronger, faster, skinnier, whatever the thing is, fill in the blank. Both those things have value. What interests you? Happiness, it leads to memories that are directly correlated with what you did rather than how you did it. I don't know my PR, I don't care. I'm going to start, I'm going to finish, and I'm going to have a blast along the way. That's my experience, the people I meet. If healthiness is, it provides the pathway to greater accomplishments, new capacities, and a socially acceptable body. If happiness is the pinnacle, its success is measured by how it made you feel. There's the intuition kicking in. If healthiness is, its success is measured in if you accomplish what you set out to do and the changes in you that can be seen by others. Is this working? Am I moving in the direction of? Who gets put on the commercial? Who gets put on The Biggest Loser? The person who physically can represent and then speak that change that was supposed to be seen. Lastly, if happiness is the pinnacle, it accomplishes something that it is something that you don't have to be good at in order to accomplish the goal. Versus, it is something that you have to show up and suck, earn your stripes, and have the will and the guts to stick with it, with time, be equitably respected by your actions. Now again, there isn't a right or a wrong here. This is what moves me. I had to go, this is why I do the things. It's a joy mechanism. It's a presence mechanism. So this is what I get to reap. This is what others may seek from a larger cultural normative. You put these two things together, and you have opportunities to choose where and what and why. So this enoughness activity, this workshop, this calibration exercise, is one that's intended to make you go, so why am I doing anything that I'm doing? How do we express that with words? How do we feel it and go, it's like, ooh, my body's telling me something right now. That's not a fluffy figurative statement. It's your nerve, it's biology, y'all. Like your feelings are a part of who you are and how you survive. Your thoughts are as well. And all that leads you to a place of going, here's how I'm going to be where I am with what I have and make the most out of it. Hopefully, at the end of something like this, you go, And that noise is indicative of someone who's practicing enoughness. I'm going to be hanging around to have conversation soon, but thank you. This morning, I was listening to Michelle Obama's podcast, and she was talking about why she didn't show up to some events earlier this year and the response and the anxiety around not being at the big events, that being former First Lady and also Michelle Obama. It's like, what does that look like? And Michelle Obama said this: I'm at the stage where I have to define life in my own terms. And all of a sudden, my brain, because it's trained this enoughness mechanism, went, Enoughness. Michelle's grounding by going, here's what I'm doing, here's why I'm doing it. Go out in the world and find examples of enoughness, and please be those examples for other people because they need it. Thanks, everybody. Woo!